for letting me present this. This is a study performed by one of our medical students, Asaf Shacham, and Tamar and me. Actually looking at the correlation between sonography and hyperradiography in babies treated for DDH. DDH and hyperradiography, what's the relation? Is there any relation? Should we perform an X-ray at the age of 6 months, 12 months, walking age, about a year and a half? Is it needed at all after the sonography has normalized? And what is the rate of abnormal X-rays when you see that the hip sonography is normal? So it's not easy. And when you do perform an X-ray, what is the actual acetabular index that is normal? What is normal? Where do you get the normal numbers from? So up to the age of 6 months, I think we could all agree that hip sonography is enough. We get good images, and the X-ray exposure should be minimized and even not used at all. But while the ossific nucleus is seen, we begin to have problems with the ultrasound, and we think that X-ray might help us a little. So the current study that Asaf has performed was to include all babies that were detected with DDH in Tamar's clinic and were treated and healed or resolved or normalized, and to ask the question whether an X-ray would help us, and what does it mean that the sonography is now okay? Will the X-ray be okay also? So he included all the X-rays performed between the age of 6 months and on, and he was looking at the background data and the sonographic follow-up, and the acetabular index was recalculated on the X-rays. So the problem was the normogram. What is the normal value for acetabular index? And we were using the Novias study that was recently published about the normal acetabular index values for age, sex, and side for normal babies that were having an X-ray and were maturing to have a normal acetabulum. So this is a great job by Novias et al. And he was using this as the normogram. So 54 babies were included, 108 hips, and 103 had DDH with 5 normal hip joints during the sonography follow-up. And he was recalculating the acetabular index, and he graded them as normal or abnormal. Now, this is something to be to look at, because the normal values were the mean and lower than the mean, and also 1 standard deviation above, meaning that he was using a range of normal values, and these were graded as normal X-rays. So 54 females, of course, many breech presentations, because this clinic is based on a hospital with some bias in the referral. Of course, many familial cases, very high bilateral case prevalence. And the main outcome was that the vast majority of normalized sonography did have a acetabular index within the normal range that was defined in this study. Okay? So 1 standard deviation above the mean and not more than that, that's a normal X-ray. So this is a lot lower rates of abnormal X-rays than were reported previously. Because we were taught that if you have a normal sonography, you might find that the acetabular index is not within normal range. And these are the most recent studies, but this was not based on the same population study. The normograms were different. So I would just recall that you should not base any correlation between acetabular index and alpha angle. Don't miss them. They are not correlated. The acetabular index is changing by age. while the alpha angle should be just above 60. If you have an alpha angle on sonography above 60, you're okay. So don't mix them. This is not a correlation between the numbers of the acetabular index and the alpha angle. This is a correlation between the normogram and the alpha angle, or the sonography. So we had 6 joints that were not normal on X-ray, while the sonography has normalized. So this is a strange group. This is the group that we won't like to miss, because these are babies that we say, you're okay, your baby has no problem, but the X-rays are not okay. So what defines this group? So what's strange in this group is that they all had an X-ray in a later stage than the group that had a normalized sonogram and just had an X-ray at the same visit. And that's strange, because you see that if you base your X-rays not on the value of the acetabular index, but by the deviation from normal, you see that there are some differences, because probably these kids are not developing their acetabulum, the ossified acetabulum, what we see on X-ray, as good as they should have. We had more unilateral cases, but still, as you can see here, the acetabular index in all of these 6 cases was around 29-30, which means that missing these cases for about half a year and not performing an X-ray and just delaying your X-ray, you wouldn't miss much. You'll see the problem. You won't have any dislocation or severe dysplasia. So these are the cases that you would miss if you won't take an X-ray after the sonography has normalized. So the rate of normal X-rays is probably lower than was reported previously, although we are basing our results only on one study normogram. So the added value of an X-ray after a normalized sonogram is probably not that high. Of course, we have many limitations, like the group is not that big, and the normogram is based on one study. But still, I think it gives us some information about the importance or the unimportant value of an X-ray during these very early stages. And I think we should just stop having an X-ray too early after the sonogram has normalized. Thank you.